Ulonkata bati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun ló fi bí pa. Ọba tálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Ìwọ ló ń bọ̀ nílé. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of After Spiritual Experience. I'm your host, Orisa Gbemi, and shout out to the tribe. Shout out to OJ coming through, burning this thing down last night. The tribe was going crazy. I was going crazy, and yeah, was dropping bombs, man. She was dropping some real heat last night, so that was a dope show. So those who have been privy to the Patreon, have heard, the words of wisdom, from but I think for her to be able to bring it out to the whole tribe, I think that was a whole nother level. So it was a dope episode. So shout out to her, shout out to the Patreon community, and shout out to iMSEGMahri back to the tribe. Peace and blessings. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm blessed. I can't complain at all. Yes, ma'am.
It is an honor and it is a pleasure to be back.
I shall. Yeah, we had a dope a little run, last week between, like I said, the Patreon community call, and then, I knew the channel call was going to be dope too. I'm still trying to figure out which one, I thought was, brought the most heat, but either way they both brought heat. So I'm like, yeah, either way it's a win-win. So
well, check out. Can I tell you something? A little something about that heat, a little something that you don't know, and maybe you know a little bit about it. But it is so beautiful how divine works, because you remember, it's like I went on to Orisha Stone, and Minister Oyeyemi is the one who brought me to Orisha Stone, and then you had Oyeyemi here, and then like bringing all of this unit together, this collaborative, man, it is very powerful. So I just want you all to know the privilege and the honor to have had Minister Oyeyemi like in full view, because I've been working with her for a while. She has definitely supported my journey in so many ways, has taught me so much, and has assisted me in that redirection with my own mother. In 2016, there was a journey, and one day we'll talk about that. But Minister Oyeyemi was a great aid in that, because it's like that connection with the mother is important. It's just everything. And so to have it all be connected, and so what I was going to say is that, so it took it, I think I've been working with her for at least about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years before I got to see her face. So for everyone to be able to get that, I'm just so excited, because I know what that means. It is time. It is time. It is time for this information to be here. And, the way it all happened is just so divine. I'm grateful for Yeye, Aya, Oshun Shewa, who, connected us as well. So it's just magical. And so tonight, what I would like to do, because this is such a miraculous thing in my world that's happening, and I'm making, I'm saying yes to joining the tribe. I would really like to know more about Orisa Gbemi. So I would really love to know what your story is. And Orisa Gbemi has allowed me to tap into my little box of what I used to do in my journalism box, right? And be able to put him on the other side as we do this session tonight. We definitely want to talk about, the reason for this spiritual sexual healing that is necessary, but it's very necessary to know the foundation of what this is all about. And this is A.S.E, this is African spirituality experience. So I need to know, what is the foundation? How did you come to this awareness? How did you come to create the A.S.E experience?
Peace and blessings, and yeah, I do pray. Nah, first and foremost, I appreciate it, man, and I definitely look forward to, like I said, the collaborations as far as like the partnerships and putting together, classes, trainings, sessions, like to really heal. I think so for me, I recognize value, in relationships. I recognize value in environments, and I recognize value in just spirit, right? So for me, I think Ashe came about really from spirit, like straight up. It came about like I would say I can't remember the exact day or the month or the time or any of that, but it was in 2023, I believe. And I think I was in the shower, if I'm not mistaken. It's always like in the water, where things tend to happen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we had a very powerful experience with the water today, which we might can get into a little bit later. But that's how it kind of came about. It was like, hey, you need to go ahead and get that going. And so I'm like, man, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to do it, because this is my third podcast. So I've had two other podcasts prior to this one where they didn't flourish, the way this one has, been blessed to kind of take a different, form. So those two kind of taught me the process. It taught me the work ethic. It taught me the dedication, the consistency, the drive, all the things that it takes to build anything. It showed me that these things have to happen in order for you to have longevity. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, I think the main thing I was focused on before I personally was ready to launch it was just making sure I had enough content to kind of keep the volume of the shows coming up
Right.
organically, but yet have enough in the bank. So it was like I wanted to have at least 6 months to a year worth of content before I launched. But that spirit was like, nah, we don't give a damn about what you want. It's time for you to launch this thing now. So so it was like I know I think I can't remember who it was. I think it was Big Chief who was talking about spiritual ass whoopings on one of the interviews me and him did. But it's like that I've had that before and I didn't want any more of those. So I'm like, yeah, I had enough of them. I ain't taking no more. So when they said it's time to get it popping, it's time to get it popping. So I just went ahead and went. And so for me, I felt like it wouldn't be no better way to start, the channel without having it being introduced by me actually introducing my yeye, what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
one who brought me into, the tradition of Isheshe and into, E5. So it was like there was no way I was gonna do it unless it was no way I wanted to do it unless I can get her to be the first guest. You know what I mean? Because for me, that was setting the tone out the gate of who and what I represent, and
Mm-hmm.
which that is a family, and family, always the matriarch, the mothers, being obedient to the mothers and balance, between the masculine and the feminine, and just really bringing about healing. So it's really dope how it came about because it happened so fast and it happened so organically. Like to me, I still don't even sit back and realize like what it's become, what it's grown to. I think the first time I really realized what it had grown into was when I had the last event in Jacksonville with Professor Smalls. And when I went there, it was dope. Like the feedback from the people was unbelievable. And to see people that drove from all over the country to come to that event, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, they was like, yo, Ashe, like we see you. So it's like it was dope. And for me, I actually was sitting back wherever everybody else is right now, chilling, watching a Professor Smalls, watching a Professor Kaba, watching a Professor Baina Bello, watching, all these masters, all these great phenomenal teachers, and influencers, like people who are really moving the culture. Like I sat Dr. Blair's, you about to know to him, the Dr. York's, Freedom Master Teacher. So I sat back and watched, all these masters flourish and doing what they do. And so for me, like just doing the work that I do, just being a nerd, and just researching, learning, studying, and putting in work. It was a surreal moment for me twofold because one, I went from the audience to being able to introduce, somebody who I look up to tremendously, who I have the utmost respect for in regards to the work that they've done. So to be able to go from the audience to the stage, that was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was humbling. But then to be able to come there with Ashe standing on its own legs in its own right, that was even more powerful because it was like without the work of the Smallses and the Kabas and the Malcolms, there is no Ashe. You know what I mean? So it's like the work that they've done paved the way for the lane for something to be like Ashe, you know what I'm saying, to come through and really come through and do what it did. And so it's like I still haven't really fully realized it, honestly, because it's still kind of surreal that I get to do something I love and like really do it at its highest level and be able to make impact with it. So it's like that's something that I wouldn't trade that for the world. So I think that's what I got. Long story short, or short story long.
Say, oh, we love it, love it. I want to give a shout out to all of the room that they're talking and they're loving the flip. So I appreciate it. We're gonna, if you guys have any questions that you ever wanted to know about Orisa Gbemi, please put them in the room and we'll definitely get to them. So one of the things that I want to know, like in this world now, we're all experiencing this shift. Some of us have experienced it longer, than others. What was your awakening time? Like, when did it happen for you that you was just like, all right, you had to surrender and come to your calling? What was that?
I can't. I would have to say birth, because there's never. I can't even sit here and say that there's ever been a time, and I say that with the utmost humility, but also with the utmost conviction that, as far as I can remember, there's never been a time where I felt like I was connected to the Creator. Not one time ever that I can recall in this lifetime that I didn't feel a divine connection to the Creator. And so for me, I think that's what's always gave me the confidence to do the things that I might have normally been not wanting to do or uncomfortable doing, or maybe even being scared to do, intimidated to do. It always gave me that extra, ashe, to be like, it don't matter. Like put them feelings and that fear bullshit in your pocket and get this done. You know what I'm saying? Like by any means necessary. And that's what you got. That's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no, there's no option B, or you know what I'm saying? None of that. It's like that's what it is, all or nothing. So for me, I've always felt that, from time as far as I can remember, that, there is a higher power, and that I am a child of that higher power. And by me knowing without the shadow of a doubt that I am a child of the universal prime creator, I never really had nothing to like really be not feel connected about. I feel like the connection did take different forms and different paths. I think growing up with family members who were, on one side was like Christians, the other side was Jehovah's Witnesses, and then me personally, I found my own path with like studying Islam because I fell in love with Malcolm. When I saw Malcolm, I'm like, yo, that's the prototype. Like that's what, what I'm saying, the creme de la creme of what I consider to be a freedom fighter is. So when I saw him, I'm like, okay, that's it right there. That's the top of the mountain. That's the pinnacle. So from there, I studied that, and I bumped into Dr. York's work in about 94, and I think I was like a freshman in high school. And once I got his work, it was over. So it just kind of took different stages and phases, like maybe from like Islam to studying like Noble Drew Ali, studying I would say ancient Kemet was heavy, but once I found Dr. York's work, it was over. Like that just took metaphysics, and then like the Dr. Blair information, all that information to the next level. And then Ifa I kind of bumped into by studying Kemet. And so the deeper I went into studying ancient Kemet, the more that I would see, this thing called Ifa cross paths with, some of the teachings that I was learning about in ancient Kemet. And so from there, I realized like for me, I wanted to learn more about that because I didn't have any access to any Kemetic priests or priestesses. So there was no way for me to personally get, I feel like, to the next level in regards to my spiritual journey in the Kemetic traditions of culture, because I just didn't have, any access to anyone who could take me to the next level. So down here in Florida where I'm at, there's definitely a decent, Ifa, Orisha community down here. So, in 2018, I crossed paths with somebody who was in the tradition, and shoot, they introduced me to my yaya, and it was a wrap from there, man. It's like, that's when everything like took off like warp speed. Once I got introduced to Ifa Sheshe, it was over then. Like it just took off.
I think that that's really interesting too. And I definitely want to get into some topics that might be, I don't know, maybe it's taboo, but who's scared of taboo? Ain't nobody scared of taboo,
Hey.
right? So I know that for me, I grew up with my father being a santero. My uncle was a santero. And so, but that was when I was little. And so I remember the things. But then when I was older, my father had turned into being Pentecostal. And so I had my own ideas. And then I still was very close to that community of babalaos and santeros. And it's like, it was in my community, it was just such a thing of power where the babas, they were so sucked into their power that they were abusing it to the point where they would make a woman feel like she had to succumb to him because he was the Baba, right? And so the same things that happen in all religions, all religions, right? All religions attain. So I feel the energy of you is quite different than things that I've experienced in that world. And so what is your experience in the tradition and in what you're bringing?
Hmm. I feel like I'm just bringing Ashe, like just real, authentic, transparent Ashe energy. And for me, there's a lot, there's pros and cons, there's good, there's bad, there's light, there's dark, there's everything, all levels of polarity in every aspects of humanity, of the globe, you know what I'm saying, the universe for that matter. So it's like, it's always gonna be, those dark pockets of, you know what I mean, like representation of certain sects of, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. So for me, I just really just being true to me, knowing thyself. Yeah, I said it last night, know thyself, know what matters for you. You know what I'm saying? What do you stand for? What is your why? Like, what do you do this for? And so for me, I know what that is, and I'm convicted on making sure that I make that happen by any means necessary. And I feel like when you have a certain set of like ethos or a certain set of just a way that you operate, like a standard, like that's what it is. And so you just don't, you don't forward. For me personally, I don't want to waver off of that. Like I want to stick to the script and just do what do what I do and do it how I do it. And for me, I feel like the people who I work with, especially on a personal level, they know what it is with me. Like I go in, you know what I'm saying? It's like because I believe in what I do and I know the results that I get for the people that I get them for. And there's nothing that makes me more proud than that. You know what I'm saying? Like this week alone was a very monumental week for the tribe. We have some people who have some really, really powerful milestones accomplished this week. So it's like to be able to do that work and to see the results of how people's lives are changing, not just their lives, but the lives of their families, their children, their grandparents. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is a real monumental shift right now. And so when you have people who are doing the work and doing it the right way for the right reasons, you have the ability to really create on a whole nother level for infinite seasons. Like there is no limit to that. You know what I'm saying? So when you really tapping into what is Ashe and Ori and Ifa and the ancestors, the Gungun, it's really about energy, period. It don't matter what you call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for me, even like with Ifa Ishe, I don't care what nobody's religion is, because if you come to me with love and respect and loyalty, I'm gonna give it right back. And if you come to me with the bullshit, and then you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to ask that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that's what we, that Orgone energy, that's what that machete's for, to clear the path and clear the way. You know what I'm saying? So, I just really believe in what I do, and I do it for the people. I go all in with it, man. So that's all I know.
That's a beautiful and wonderful thing. And I have to say that your energy and your people, your community is a testament to what it is that you deliver and what it is that you offer here on this podcast, on this channel. Because I have talked to a lot of people, and thank you very much. I have talked to a lot of people that listen to this podcast, and this community is ready. This community is ready to go. And this was part of the reason, ancestors was like, this is where you're supposed to be. This is where you're supposed to do that thing. They kept showing me 1044, 1044. I've been seeing
Mm,
1044 for at least the last 5 years, right?
mm,
1044 means continue to do what you do, but do it in a different way. Find
mm,
different and creative ways to do this thing. And so all the time that they kept saying that, I was like, well, how? Well, okay, all right. But you have to wait until you fully know. And when you
mm,
fully know, you know, because there's just no question. Just like when
mm,
you had to do this podcast and, get it going. So this is something that is just so powerful to what is happening in the world right now,
mm,
because this spiritual, sacral, sexual healing is needed for the entire planet. And
mm,
this authenticity that is happening, that people are connecting to, is something that's just automatic.
mm,
So I love how you say you're just being you. You're just being authentic and being who you are, and you're a great representation of
mm,
what it's supposed to be, right? And this is what we all need to do, is be great representations of what it is that we believe, what it is that we are representing, right?
mm,
And respecting everyone and their perspectives and what it is that they're bringing their ache, right? And so
mm,
it's a really dynamic thing. I gotta flip it really quick, because I noticed in your interviews you have this music. The music is in you, and so funny because it's like Yeah, people bring it out in you, and all of a sudden your little music angels come out and they tell you what
Yeah.
songs to sing, and it's just so funny. So tell me, why is that so strong? Did you used to want to be a rapper or something?
That, yeah, I done dropped some bars, man. I done dropped some bars before, man. I done dropped some bars. I wouldn't say, well, I played around with it. I never like took it serious. I never like really, dedicated myself to really doing it. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I played around. I think everybody growing up, in the hip hop era. I'm an '80s baby, you know what I mean? So like we used to stay in the cypher freestyle, you know what I'm saying? Like just, So yeah, I definitely I dropped some bars before. And I recorded a few songs. So, but I think I love music. So it's like,
Yeah,
and one thing that about art, right? So we're artists too. You know what I mean? You're an artist with what you do, with your art, with your, with the crystals, all that, with the way you heal people, like all that's art, right? So for me, being somebody I feel like always also been an artist because I remember like being a little boy in elementary school, I used to draw sneakers because I'm a sneakerhead. So I love sneakers. So I wish I don't know what I got, like where I put all those pictures, but I wish I could find them. But I used to draw sneakers when I was young. And then from sneakers, I started drawing cars. And then I started like buying like model cars, putting cars together, things of that nature. So things that I always like to love, I always put a lot of like intention into.
hmm,
And so, and then from there, I started writing poetry. I started writing poetry probably, I think I might have been like either middle school or high school when I started writing poetry. So I think that's where I really first started writing, like taking thoughts and taking spirit and taking, you know what I'm saying, just different experiences and putting it into some sort of written, you know what I mean, documentation or some sort of,
absolutely.
written, something that, tangible, right? So from there, yeah, I just, I went into that for a while. I never really went in the studio and like really thought about writing an album, nothing like that. But I definitely had my fair share of freestyle and just having fun with it, with the art.
It's funny because everybody has that music force. I'll tell you something that I'm Minister Oja I don't think she'll mind me saying this about her, but she's a DJ. I mean,
Mm,
we have this private community, and she is always putting music up there, and that's how we connected in the beginning. She was always sending me music,
mm,
and music is just such a powerful healer. You
yeah,
know, and it's like there's so many messages that are in music and well in all music, but
yeah,
there's certain messages that are in music that you're not thinking that they're coming through, but they're coming
mm,
through. And the best example that I can give for that is Earth, Wind and Fire. They knew
mm,
what they were doing, you know what I'm saying? And so
mhm,
that energy is always healing, even
yeah,
despite what the powers that were try to do with it. It's always going to be healing.
yeah,
So before you were doing this work on social media, the
mm,
internet is a whole new thing. You had a whole another life of helping and teaching people and sharing with people. Can you tell
yeah.
me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's how I got into being speaking to people. Life. I think. Oh man, I saw somebody from the tribe sent a video today in the group chat, and it was hilarious to me. I can't remember the sister's name, who the comedian was, but she was on IG, and the skit was she was just sitting there looking in the camera, and she like, yeah, man. So I was talking to one of my homegirls the other day, and she was like, yeah, when the last time you been in a fight? She was like, shit, I was in a fight yesterday. She was like, well, who? She was like, life, man. Life be fighting, be trying to do me down bad almost every damn day. I'm in the fight for my life with life. Like, I don't know nobody that's won that fight. Like, shit,
Yeah.
I was in a fight yesterday. So it was a funny video. But I say all that to say, that's what it was. Life, man. Life had hit me with a haymaker. It hit me with a
Mhm.
haymaker, knocked me down. And shit, I was down. So, but I looked at it like, to really make the story short, there was a really transformational moment one day laying on the couch. And I just remember Spirit was just like, yo, man, you need to get up. Get up, get your ass up, put your boots on, you know what I'm saying? Grab your nuts and get to work. Like, you got work to do. I don't give a damn about this little sad sorrow bullshit. Nah, you get your ass up and let's get it. And
Mhm.
I mean, it was like straight up. It was almost like Pop when he went off on cue when they was in the living room, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and he started screaming, talking about, oh, how, you gotta, what do you say? You gotta learn how to snatch them up collar, you know what I'm saying? He went in on that, yeah, that rant. So it was like that. It was one of the moments where it was like, you know, you're gonna get up and make this happen. Like, we're not taking none of that, you know, period. And so when that fire, I feel like that was like that Orgone energy. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he took that hammer and started hitting that anvil, like boom, you know what I'm saying? Boom. And that was it. So in the process of that, I remember listening to YouTube, a lot of motivational videos, motivational, like, you know, speakers. You know, in the morning, every day I program my mind by just listening to something positive, you know what I'm saying, to get my mind out of the space that it was in, you know, when life had hit me with that haymaker. So it was like I got up, listened to the you know, motivational messages, and then I remember one day Les Brown was on there. He said something like, yo, if you do what I'm about to tell you right now, in the next 6 months, your life will never be the same. And so I'm like, man, what this dude talking about? But for some reason, you know how sometimes you hear something and it resonates, kind of like you're talking about with the music, like certain songs, you just hear them, you know it's a hit. Like as soon as you hear, you're like, oh yeah, that's a hit. I remember the first time I heard Lil Baby on that song that he had with Drake. I can't remember the name of the song, but the first time I heard that song, like, man, I don't know who this dude is, but he about to blow. Like whoever he is, I hear something here. And sure enough, he just took off. So for me, when I heard that message, it reverberated in my spirit. Like it really resonated heavy. And so I rewinded it, I paused the video, I rewinded it back. I'm like, let me see what this dude talking about, man. So I listened to it again, and he said, if you do what I'm about to do for the next 6 months straight, your life will never be the same. I said, I'm gonna try this. So he was like, write down, you know, your 5 top goals, write down, you know, why you want to accomplish these goals, and then also write down, you know, what is your motivation? Like, what is your why as to why you want to, you know what I'm saying, accomplish these goals. So for me, I did it. And then the other part was, it was like, you know, make sure that you look at it 3 times a day. Open it up, you know what I'm saying, keep it in your wallet for females, purse, whatever. But open it up in the morning, read it. Open it up in the afternoon, read it. And then open it up and read it before you go to sleep. So I did that. And man, I'll be damned. 6 months later, I never looked back. Like, it was crazy because that's how I found my gift of being a public speaker. I ended up joining Toastmasters International because a friend of mine she was pushing my buttons for the longest to write a book. And I was like, nah, I'm not writing no book, man. Nobody want to, you know what I'm saying? Nobody knows who I am. Why would I write a book? And she was like, it's not about that. She was like, it's about your story. Like, you have a story that you can share that a lot of people could benefit from your story. Like, you've been through, you know, some things in life, but you still, you know what I'm saying, you still at it. Like, you ain't letting that slow you down. You're not, you know what I'm saying, you're not letting that hold you back. Like, you still like, F them, you know what I'm saying, F them haymakers. Like, let's get it. And so, you know, over time, it started to resonate with me that she was right. And then I remember it was Les Brown again. He was like, sometimes you have to go off of other people's belief in you, even if you don't necessarily see what they see in you at the time yourself. Like, you know, they see something in you that's worth you know what I'm saying, doing because they see it and you might not. And so that kind of resonated with me too. So by that, spirit started really like ramping up in my life. And there's a lot of synchronicities, a lot of, you know, a lot of this different aha moments that I knew spirit was really like speaking to me. And one of them was to go start speaking, you know, learn how to do public speaking. And when I did that, that was the best thing I could have ever did because that opened up a whole nother realm of business for me. So at that point, it was like, it was something I was just blessed with, a gift, you know what I mean, to be able to talk to people and relate to people and to be able to help people, you know. So I didn't know I would go into the healing space. I thought I was going to be more of just the consultant space, you know, doing business consulting for businesses and schools and churches and, you know, community organizations, things of that nature. So that's what I was focused on. But then it was rolling, you know, and then when COVID hit, COVID shut everything down. It shut me down because I had no social media, you know what I'm saying, presence. I wasn't into social media. I'm still not a big fan of it, but you know, I know the value of it in regards to doing, you know, marketing or promoting yourself and getting, you know, your products, your services, your brands out there. So it's something that has to be adaptable. You know what I mean? So for me, I took the time during COVID to like really reposition myself in the world, because you know that was like Aladdin, you know, getting the rug snatched from under you. You know what I'm saying? That was the second time I had that happen, something like that happened, where I was set up to like really take off and make some multi-million-dollar deals. So it was like to have that like ripped away second time, it was crazy. So it was like, okay, I got to figure something out now. So that goes back to like the sister talking about life, you know what I'm saying, and how life, you're always in a fight for it. So I learned then that, you know, no matter what you want to achieve or accomplish or have, you're gonna have to fight for that shit. Like, it ain't gonna come easy. But for me, I've never been scared to fight. I've never been scared to fight. So it's like, if that's all you got, that's all I got to do to get to the win. Let's get it. And so, you know, that's what, you know, my previous, you know, kind of like experiences with, you know, speaking and communicating with people.
And it's a beautiful thing because this is that time for it. I know you have a great vision for what you want to do moving forward. And I know that there's definitely things that, of course, with respect, we got to keep certain things under wraps until it's time.
Yeah.
But I will say that there's a there's a little scare tactic that's happening right now in the world for, I think it's November, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a flood of people in that, because see, when the scare tactics happen, I'm because I look at everything as energy. Like, nothing is bad to me. I'm looking at everything as like a signal. Do do do. Okay, that's a signal that's going on over there. This is what's happening. I'm looking at energy, right? And so when you have like these traumatic things that happen, it wakes people up,
Mm.
right? So in that whole situation, there's going to be so many people that are going to be waking up to what's, and here's the cool part about it. In the wake up that is happening now at the level that we are on the planet, when
Mm-hmm.
people wake up, it's just kind of like, I wake up and where am I going, where, and they know how to take direction. People know exactly what to do with exactly what is happening now. You know,
Mm.
it's like this the connection that I've had with the people that I've talked to in this community, the connection that I've had with you, brother Orisa Gbemi, the connection I have with Orisha Stone and his family. It's been divine. And it's just kind of like how we're always shown, and we're always shown that it's about the alignment and being able to relax in the knowing of who you are. And this
Mm.
is why it is so important for this that's happening here right now to happen. And
Mm.
so I wanted to make sure and bring people like the like how it began and how it started, because it's symbolic to what's happening with this spiritual, sacral, sexual healing that
Mm.
is necessary for it to happen. We
Mm.
are going to go so deep on this topic of
Oh yeah.
healing that, and everyone is going to be prepared for it, because
Mm-hmm.
there is a private Patreon
Mm.
already goes on that you're going to be able to have access to. And
Yes,
I've
sir.
already let Orisha Stone that I am going to be doing exclusively my work through Ache, because I wasn't going to come do it online on no social media. Nobody's nothing, no way. Therefore, I've agreed to do it all in private. And so we're going to be talking about things here because everybody needs to know about it, right? But when we get to doing that work is going to happen in private. And so this that's happening right now, it's a very powerful time. I think, and it's so funny because I don't really follow a lot of stuff. It might be a new moon tonight. Not
Mm.
sure. Is tonight the night of the new moon? Somebody could
I'm
tell us
I'm not
that.
sure. I'm not sure. I gotta. I'm pretty sure somebody in the tribe know. Tribe, if y'all could please let us
Okay.
know in the
And I
comments if
live in
today
the
is a new
tribe.
moon. Yeah, they're gonna. Somebody in the tribe always got answers, man. Anytime, it's funny because I love when I go back and watch the shows, the replays, and just see how it just be so dope how like people be chiming in and like the comments be matching what we talking about. It's just dope, man. And then whenever we need help with something, they throw that thing in there ASAP. So I think at most part it's probably like the technology catching up to get the comments to us. You know what I mean? Without hiccuping, without slowing it down a little bit. But yeah.
I have to give it back to you in what in this community that you're creating and your ache to this community, because you do an excellent job of connecting with your community and allowing them to be a part of the creation,
Mm.
right? With still, everybody knows their boundaries, right? We
Yeah.
all adults, we all grown, everybody knows what it is. So it's a beautiful thing, because this is a whole new paradigm that we're shifting into, where people know what it is,
Yeah.
right? This is why
Yeah.
this healing is so necessary and it's so important, because that era where you need for somebody to tell you what to do, like, that's like done. We're
Oh
not
yeah.
doing that anymore. Now
Yeah.
you got to it within yourself. What is the truth? And when you recognize that truth within yourself, it makes it really easy to recognize it in others. It brings that discernment up 100%. That's why
Yes.
the whole love thing, love changes into a whole nother thing when
Mhm.
you love yourself. Oh my goodness. It has a whole nother experience when
Yeah.
you're doing it in that way. And so things become very organic and authentic. It is what it is because that's the way that it should be. That's the way that it's supposed to be. Universal law. You know what I'm saying? So it is, I have to commend you in doing that because that's important as we're moving forward. There's a lot of energies, and we're not gonna, everybody knows what it is. There's energies there that the ego is so strong that it really doesn't allow for the teaching and the learning flow, right? Because it's a flow. And some teachers, they think that, oh, I'm the teacher, I'm the master, so you know what I'm saying? And it's like you have that door open because the people that are in this community that are watching are also masters, are also superheroes. They got their divine gifts. And so they come into this community to be cleansed, right? To be clarified so that they could see who they are. They're not being fed, this is who you need to be. This is what you need to do. It's more of a find yourself so that we can get to this because it's happening. Not is going to happen. It's happening right now. So I'm very grateful to be able to come into the community and feel super extra comfortable because I chair to my ancestors. I chair to my father and my father, Obatala, and my father, Lucas Evangelista Diaz. This is the month of the time he came in to the planet, October 18th. My brother, October 27th, and they're all here because I'm feel like my lower extremities is like shaking. I got tingles like all over. And what's cool about it is that I know what it is. Like I know exactly that it's my father, it's my uncle, it's my brother. And it's an energetic force. It's not even the energy of what they were like when they were here in the physical. That's a totally different thing. It's an energy that you can feel it. And when you give that ache to your ancestors, when you're talking to them, when you're feeling them all the time and they come to you, you know what it is. No doubt. Ache.
I say, oh, yes, sir. Listen, look, that energy percolating, boy. Look, that you going ancestral. It's percolating, boy. Look, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, man, because this is the power of the Ashe, right? So we had, like I said, we had some tribe members accomplish some milestones this week, and some very, very powerful prayers and very, very powerful offerings, were given. So. And I'm looking forward to sharing that in the Patreon as well, tribe. So the Patreon community will definitely, I'll be sharing actually some of the footage and everything, man, because we went to the ocean today to appease Big Mama, shout out to, Emoja. So we went to appease her, man, and it was just like, it was amazing because all week long during every day of our ceremonies, nature played a major role, in the development of the day. You know what I mean? So it's like they came in and co-starred, or they came in and starred, throughout the day. And it was just dope because it came in the form of butterflies, it came in the form of black cats, it came in the form of white beetles, it came in the form of beautiful emerald green dragonflies. Like, it just, nature was doing what nature do, and we were doing what we need to do to appease the aspects of the Orisha, of, of the elements of nature, or the natures, or the commissions, like the elements of nature. We were working with those elements, and the elements for doggone sure showed us that we here working with you too. And so when we went there today, it was amazing to see how opening up with the prayer and calling out to the ancestors, calling out to, all the past, priests, all the past priestesses, all the past healers, all the past ancestors, all the past grandparents, great-great-grandparents, all the healers, the root workers, everybody who did what they did to keep the community afloat, safe, protected, healed, all the things that we need. They were all being invoked in summons right here in front of the big mother of them all. And that's the day after we had the elder of the night come through with that Ashe Yami Aj, energy last night. So to be able to do that, and then to see Big Mama, literally coming back to us, like letting us know, you can feel the wind picking up, you can see the waves picking up, like you can see the energy of, the creator. And then what made it more beautiful is that the sun was shining directly down on the path in which what offerings were, like floating off into the ocean as she received them. So it was a beautiful sight to see how nature does what nature do. And so I say all that to say, when we talk about what we're really talking about, it's only time will tell, because nature is working with those who are from nature, and is working to eliminate and eradicate those who are against nature. So we really have the cleansing and, the formation of the mother doing what the mother do, the grandmother. So we give thanks for you and bringing the healing that you bring, you know, with the feminine energy and the balance, you know, to being able to bring, you know, the other side of the crystal world from what stone brings from the masculine. You feel me? To bring in the, you know, the feminine on that aspect. So it's dope. And then we got some dope shows coming up next week with some of the elders who, you know, were the anchors of or are the anchors of the channel. Some of them haven't been back for a while, but then we've got Professor Kaba coming in next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So that's gonna be dope. He got a new book coming out that we're gonna be dropping Wednesday live stream on. So it's a lot of powerful things, you know, in alignment with what's happening right now, especially the feminine energy, because for a long time I was looking for feminine energy on the show, you know, and it was like because I didn't really, you know, have any that I was having shows with consistently, you know, at the time. And that I feel like, you know, was in alignment to where it flowed. But then all of a sudden, I guess Spirit heard that call too. And then, you know what I mean? Here we go. Now, now we got an abundance of the feminine energy, man. So it's dope. You know, I'm definitely, you know, giving thanks for Spirit because I can't really take the credit. I feel like just listening. That's what the one thing I'm grateful for is just listening and being obedient. But Spirit just came in and took over and do what Spirit do.
Ache, ache. Now there is something that when you were talking about this ceremony that took place today. This is really important because there, and this I have to give ache to Alejandrina Guzman. That is my grandmother, ache, ache.
Sure. You about to
Um,
do.
and what she wants me to share is the importance of the physical, the importance of these activities, and the importance of that happening now because there's a lot of people that are getting caught up with the whole internet and social media. And these are powerful mediums. And yes, we should gather at times, right? But this should not be an all day thing. You should be spending some time in nature. And that is important because there's going to be a time where they're going to turn off the lights, and when they turn off the lights, what are you going to do? Where's your community? Where are you going to go? So this is now that time to build that community. And that community, even if you have a community that's like online, when you do the proper kind of connecting with people, that transfers over to when the lights are off. If you're doing the proper connections, when the lights are off, you're still going to be able to connect with people. I'll give you an example. This Orgone technology, the people that have Orgone energy batteries, they know when to call. I know when to call them. We've been practicing. What is it? What is it? It's not telekinesis. What is it? Telepathy. Telepathy. When I'm able to think about you, and now you hit me up, right? And so these things are very important because these are part of the gifts that we have. And so one of the things that really stuck out to me is the fact that you do community work and it's not just on social media, which is very important because social media, what happens, we're in this era now where everybody is sanctified. Everybody is some kind of a healer, psychic, reader, this or that, Baba, everything. Everybody, goddess, king, queen, all of that. Everybody's that, right? So, how are you going to differentiate? The only way that you can differentiate, like for real, is when you go into yourself and you do your self work and you got all this magnificent discernment that helps you not even waste a second of your time. Because as soon as you feel that energy, you already know it's some bullshit, right? So you just go into another direction. And so that's necessary at this time because the truth is powerful. And so when you have people that are taking the information of the creator and the gods and the goddesses and the orishas and all of this powerful information, and they're throwing it out because when they say it, when you speak the truth, it resonates with your chakra system, and so you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your solar plex, you feel it in your third eye, you're feeling it in your crown, because this information is true. And if you're not well, healed, not even so much healed, aligned, right?
Alignment,
Then
yeah. Yep.
that information is going to come in and it'll be like warped because you're feeling like, oh, but it feels so good, it must be the truth. And yes, and this is where we have the people that they fall in love with Jesus or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like this energy that's undeniable because they feel it in their root chakra, right? And they're feeling it, but it's all discombobbled. So it's not aligned. So they're misconstruing that energy because they don't have the discernment to be able to figure out, oh, okay, I'm feeling this because of this. This is where that energy belongs. This is what we're supposed to be equipped to do. There are many, what is it that they said? The wolves in sheep's clothing and the mess. I mean, they've been giving you the information of what
Yeah.
was going to happen in this time because the war is here and now. Like, but it also depends on how your experience of it. For me, it's preparation. Orgone is taking care of all that. I can take care of just what I love and the preparation, what I enjoy. I ain't scared about nothing. I ain't scared about nothing. So it's like and that's what they want, right? And so this is so important what's happening right now, and I'm so grateful. So I'm going to give you back the mic, and can you tell us what are some of the things that you're doing that and where people could support the movement of Ache and what you're doing with this project?
Well, when you were talking, I heard them songs pop up. So I heard Here and Now. I promise to aid. Yeah, boy, I heard that Lufa, boy. I heard Here and Now. I heard Lufa just come through, boy. Lufa came through doing what Lufa do, boy. Hey. I do a lot. As a matter of fact, man, look, the tribe told me today, yo, you need to sit your behind down, blah, blah, like you gotta sit your behind down somewhere. So I was gonna do it anyway. But some of everything, I think as of late, the thing that's picking up the most is like divination consultations and consulting E5, for people, because it's just so many people that's dealing with so many things. People are dealing with the losses of jobs or the losses of family members, or losses of, transportation, losses of homes, losses of, faith, losses of, what I mean, significant others, losses of, there's just so many different things that are being ripped away from people, but this is the time of cleansing. And so when you're going through a time of cleansing, that's generally what happens, right? So it's like what the snake, when he starts to outgrow the current, size and body that's in, it has to, shed that dead skin. So a lot of us are shedding a lot of, different types of, relationships, a lot of different types of energies, a lot of different types of activities, a lot of different types of environments, a lot of different types of mindsets, a lot of different types of habits, a lot of different types of addictions, afflictions, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different things that are shifting at a rapid rate of speed for a lot of people, and people need help, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, being able to tap into the oracle and being able to get the guidance of the guides and the deities and, the divine beings, to be able to communicate, and then to be the messenger, the medium, to kind of like us speaking and the mic is transmitting the sound, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like the mic, like when I tap in. So it's like they're able to get all kinds of communications from all types of different, entities that are able to give guidance and assistance, and like a GPS, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about from the mental to the spiritual to the physical to the emotional to the psychological to the financial. Like you're able to get a crystal clear roadmap, you know what I'm saying? Like GPS system that is able to get you from where you are to where you desire to be. You just have to do the work, to eliminate the liability aspects of the decisions and, the behaviors and the things that are taking place in our lives. And then from there, the divine will show you, like, okay, all you had to do is what we asked you to do or what we showed you to do. And then we're going to do 3 times that for you. And I'm seeing this happen for people, and it's beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, to know how a person can be in one position when they come, and to be able to give them some information and to give them some, just, some directions or guidance on how to overcome those situations. And then they do it, to see when they, the feeling and the response that they have when they come back. That's amazing for me. And so for me, it don't take anything for me to do the work. And I feel like, I think there's a few people on here now that are new, to the tribe, are new to this whole tradition, but have reached out, and I've been able to, what I'm saying, like to work for them, to serve them, to do this work for real. And that's what matters for me more than, this part. And no disrespect to the tribe. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know what it is. But I love doing this because I see how it's grown organically. Like this was not me. This was the Ashe. It really was the Ashe of the whole entire movement that really percolated and just formed and morphed. I feel like we like Voltron. Like we like the X-Men. So I feel like this is like the school, you know what I'm saying? Like Xavier, I just been blessed to sit in the chair. But at the same time, those frequencies and those downloads, that's coming from the universe. There's no limit to that. We talking about, we've had some very powerful energy come through here, and there's a lot more still coming, you know. And so to be able to do that just through this channel, through the, you know, the medium of YouTube, that is profound. But when you actually are doing this work in real life and you're seeing the differences of how, you know what I'm saying, people are really benefiting and people are really finding hope in hopeless situations, that's the part that it will never be able to be shown, you know what I'm saying, in a way, because it's personal, it's private. But for me, that's where it's like, I don't care about some of the other stuff you know, with some of how there's other energies and other things that play that's kind of like doing the opposite work. And we know what that is, you know. But I feel like with this is doing it for real, and it's doing it in a real way, you know. And I give thanks to the elders, you know, who guide me, who cultivate me, who, you know, pour into me. And anytime I need help, I call them. They act, you know what I'm saying, they with it. Like it's a very powerful connection to source, to the universal prime creator, that it crosses over barriers and boundaries. Like there's people, you know what I'm saying, who are in the Christian faith. There's people who are Islam. I work with people from all religions, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you're a real true child of the creator, if you really are living whatever religion or whatever practice that you practice, if you're doing that and you're really doing it for the sense of doing it for real, and you believe in that creator, whatever you call it, then it don't matter what somebody else called their creator. It don't matter where somebody goes on Sunday. It don't matter where, you know what I'm saying, what somebody wears when they go to their sacred space or their sacred, you know, temple or whatever that is. Like, because if you're doing it for whatever that creator is, there's no way you should be hating or talking down on or disrespecting nobody else's culture, sexuality, color, none of that, if you really are being what you say you are as a child of the creator. So for me, I'm a child of the creator, and I stand on that, and I don't waver on that for nothing or nobody. And that's the energy I put out, because that's what I am. And so for me, when I do that, and I'm doing that in prayer, what y'all see here is that's like a grain of salt. Like when I get into that level, it's a different being, it's a different energy. We talking about like some real stuff that it's like people feel this, you know what I mean? And it's like to be able to access those levels of energies and those levels of forces, and then to transmute it and bring it into the position that where it's able to affect and to be able to protect and heal and, you know what I'm saying, do what it does for the people that it's here to do it for. That's different, you know. And that's something that you ain't gonna see on, you know, YouTube or TV, nothing like that. It's you got to live this, you know. And it's kind of like, I feel like people who portray themselves to be from the streets, that, you know what I'm saying, like they sold dope or they was in the gang, you know, whatever the case may be, but they never sniffed none of that life, you know what I'm saying, but they portray it. A real person who lived that life, they know it when they see it, and they know you ain't never sniffed that world. So don't, you know what I'm saying, don't play with it. And I feel like that's what it is for healers, especially those who consider themselves to be priests or priestesses. It's nothing to play with, because if you really know what it is, you know what it is, so you don't play like that. So
Absolutely.
that's the part that I, you know, I believe in, and that's what I go hard with when I'm off here, the work that I do like that.
That's with great power comes great responsibility.
That part. That part. Yes, sir.
One of the things that I wanted to connect with is just the fact that what we're going to be bringing as a collaborative with this sacral sexual healing is the restoration of our people. And it can only be done through the sacral sexual chakra. So these conversations need to be had. We need to talk about the things that have been so damaging to our community, to our culture, but there is also a way to be able to get that information, right? And this is it's beautiful, that just the way that nature and everything is just tied in. So when we talk about orgone technology, we also, what's in orgone technology is the stones, right? So we're it's a whole system set up so that people are going to be able to learn about themselves, learn about the stones, learn about this technology, and learn ultimately about your freedom, right? This is this is so important right now for the people that are part of what is happening, that are seeing what is happening, to support this community in any way that you can. Matter of fact, Orisa Gbemi, could you put on there your Cash App so that the people could support? I want to talk about the importance of healing this area and the result of it, because as a master of this area, I have been called in my life to study and practice and be this infinionaire that I claim myself to be, right? I couldn't be that if I didn't know myself, right? And through this process of self-awareness, you get the test. It's some people call it challenges, some people call it hard times. It depends on what you call it. Like Minister O.J. Gbemi says, if it's hard, then yeah, it's gonna be hard, if that's what you're calling it, right? And so when you decide that you recognize what it is and that you have a different path, everything is preparation. So, the fear is not about not having fear. The fear is part of the preparation. What are you going to do when that fear comes, right? And so in that preparation, that's how you learn. You're seeing what comes next. And then that confidence that you gain, it's empowering. And then you start seeing what you can do. And when you start recognizing that, you're like, fiat notes, paper money, like what is that? That's nothing. I the money, right? That all of that comes from healing this damaged area that's been damaged on every individual on the planet, and it's been done through the churches and the religions and the TVs and because everything is a program, and all of the programs are being completely obliterated, and all of the crystalline beings, the truth of all of that's been done, the lotuses, right? They're all coming out to do this work. And so the work that is being prepared here in this community is about a community thriving and a community evolving. It's not about you watching us and buying a t-shirt. You understand? It's about what is it that you're doing and how is it that you are doing for yourself, that then, because see, once you do for yourself and you're great, now you're in the position to assist. And let's go back to my testimony. So prior to okay, so the layer has been in effect for the last 13 years. And people that have been supporting the layer, this is not me by myself. This has been a community that has been in effect for a long time, right? And so it gets to when you know that you're supposed to do something and you're doing it, and then that devil comes a knocking and it's like, who do you think you are? And it starts showing you things that you have to remember. I am not my circumstances. I got to remember who I am so that I can align with that knowing so that I can get my gifts. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here rolling around in shit in fear because I don't know what to do, right? But when you're connected to that source of who you are, you're always going to know what to do. And so I had a point where I did a whole surrender. Like I surrendered. I was like, all right, like I just gotta let it be, because I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of being concerned. And ancestors were saying it's already done. Like, why are you tripping? And they're always gonna let you know, but it's us in these shells in this meat suit with all this programming, with all these blockages that we're like, we can't see ourselves, right? And they're always gonna remind us. But when you do that surrender, it's like, I check. And then it starts coming. And what started coming was this community. And that's why I got to testify to this community, Orisha Stone's community and Orisa Gbemi's community, the other people that I have been connecting with. Like, it is a testament to this is the time, this is the right time now. So things are going to be moving just like that, because as soon as everybody gets on the program, y'all remember the movie The Matrix when he plugged in? As soon as he plugged in, it was like, ooh, I know everything. That's exactly how it is, and that's exactly how it works. So when I released and when I surrendered, when I said all of my needs are met, everything is done, then that's when infinite intelligence agreed and said, okay, it is done. And everything started pouring in. I mean, when I tell you the blessings that are coming in all directions, it's not even funny. But it couldn't have happened if I hadn't gone through the mud. It wouldn't happen if I hadn't done my training, if I didn't prepare. And the preparation begins with you just listening and being still and checking yourself all the time. You got to check yourself, because it's not a game right now. This what they call a war. This is our time to evolve and get what is due to us to get. And it can't be done without you going into yourself and doing that sacral healing. So I am beyond grateful to be able to do this and let you know what is coming with this collaboration of the energies that I mentioned and more, because there's a lot of you out there. And Ache, I'm a representation of you right now. You feel me? I don't gotta say, you know who you are, you know what is feeling this right now, Ache. And let me just hold this up real quick to the ancestors, Ache, because I'm with you. You're with me. I'm here because of you. I'm here for you, Ache. Ache.
Hold on. Can you bring that back? Let me get myself off the screen so I can highlight you. 1 second.
Ache. This is Ankh on Ice. And Ankh on Ice was made like way back, like, I don't know, 2016. And so a lot of these pieces have been sitting waiting for people to come and collect them because they belong to somebody. And those of you who have already had your communication and your connection with me, you already know how I get down. If it's supposed to be for you, it's for you, and then it goes to you, and it is what it is, right? And so it is that time you're going to be able to learn how to create this. But this is not about, once you remember that you are the money, right? Then everything becomes easy and you're able to flow in your creation, and you're not creating scared, being like, oh, I got to make this because I got to pay bills and I got to get this money. And trust me, I've been there. I know what that feels like. And there is nothing like releasing and letting go. And it requires trust. And you got to trust yourself. And in order to trust yourself, you got to love yourself, right? And then when you recognize all that, then everything just starts pouring in. I can't say everything, but just know that we got you. We got y'all. We got you. Ache.
I love that. Look, and so now the music popping back up. So when you said you gotta love yourself, you do gotta love yourself, because shout out to Ghostface Killer. This is one of my favorite songs, because sometimes all that you got is you. Doom, doom, doom. And we so glad that we made it through. That's one of my favorite songs. Boy, that song was the jam back in the day, man. Shout out to Ghostface for that classic. That was a banger. But for real though, because that reminded me, I was talking to somebody the other day, I'm like, man, you gotta boo you up, man. Anybody gonna boo you up like you? You gotta boo you up, bro. You got to boo you.
Check it. Peep that. Y'all see that? I married myself. Okay. December 31st, 2025 is my 2-year anniversary of marrying myself. And no, one day it might be real, I'm the diamond, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping off of that. But this is a reminder for myself, because one of the things that I needed to learn for myself I needed to mother myself. I need to love myself like I love my daughter, like I love my son. You know what I'm saying? Like I love people. I needed to do that for me. And because when you come from sexual trauma, a lot of times what happens is you're constantly, auditioning and showing off and being like, oh, look what I could do. Look, love me. Look at me. Love me, right? And so you create a habit of putting yourself in the back burner, putting yourself last. Do not, and it's easy to always go into that part. And we have this condition that says giving to others is better than giving to yourself, right? Because giving to yourself is selfish. That's a program. Because they knew that the moment that you remembered who you are, and once that light goes off, you will never forget, right? They wanted to be sure that you don't remember that. And so, and when we become mothers, then they do that whole thing, right? Oh, you're a mother and your child this. They even make it so the children break up relationships. Like in my previous relationship, it was me, him, the children, right? And it's like, of course you're going to take care of your children, but we're the ones who made them. So we're not going to allow them to come in between anything that we got going on, because we are the masters over here in this house. You know what I mean? All of that has been put into society so that people could think, oh, this is the cool way, or, you got to, all the tradition has been taken away, right? And so people have these warped ideas on how things are supposed to be and how they're supposed to exist. And, it's just not the way. And it was done on purpose. But the cool thing is that once you get it, And once you unplug from there and plug into yourself, like that.
That part. And that's real because, you know, one of the things, and you dropped a lot of jewels in that whole, you know, delivery, but I feel like one of the things that stood out the most to me is when you're talking about how people got to look for things outside and this and that, it's like the way that this environment has been constructed in regards to the, you know, the social conditioning and the programming and, you know, the subliminal messaging and all the bullshit that they do through the media and the tell, lie, vision, and all the things that's on that tell, lies, vision, you know, just telling lies to our visions, whether it's our mind's eye, your subconscious mind, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever eyes. But people, you know, we don't. One thing that when you asked me the question earlier about like when did my spiritual journey begin, I was giving thanks and gratitude for the connection to the Creator. Like that's where I feel like we have to find some sense of source of, you know, just connection, right? Because I've never cared about outside validation, and I still don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? Because Pac said it best: "Mother love is they're gonna hate you for whatever you do." You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter. No matter what I do, I could be down bad and you know what I'm saying, like in the worst fucking condition, and motherfuckers still gonna hate on me. They still gonna be, you know what I'm saying, like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? So why not go for it? Why not go all out and throw the Hail Mary and just say, you know what, F it. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, damn. I'm gonna do the damn thing. Ain't no way, ain't no need to like Big Daddy Kane ain't no half stepping. Ain't no need to half stepping. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna do it, go with it, man. Get it. So that's where, you know, I feel like that's what I love about this opportunity to be here, to be a part of the tribe and do what I do for Ashe, because everybody who really know and rock with the tribe, they know what it is with me. I'm giving it everything I got. And so like with the work that we're doing, I see it just doing quantum leaps for people because I see the work that's being done now, you know, and that's with me working by myself. So now when like I said, when we align with these X-Men, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy forces like Transformers, Voltron, whatever you want to call it, when we start bringing these superpowers together, boys, okay, it's a shift. Like the shift already done happened. We just waiting for it to materialize into the physical realm for y'all to see it. But if you tapped in and like to the, you know, you tapped in, you know what it is, you know. So hey.
I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for not being a better hostess and seeing what I'm saying in the chat. I'm over here getting all caught up in the conversation. But
Listen.
so excited because this has been in the works for longer than we've even been alive. You know, you see her back there?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
The
sir.
golden goddess. She's 13 feet tall. She is the goddess that represents all of the goddess. She actually is supposed to have all of her chakras down, but she's not finished yet. But yeah, but she is a representation of all of the divine feminine. And so she comes like you see her in the fro there, but she has locks, she has different, you know, different styles because she's a representation of the divine feminine. And so this we are so divinely protected. Absolutely, all of us. It's just a matter of being able to connect to that knowing and align with that truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be okay. Don, look. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do my job. Don Julio Suarez says it's gonna be a unity world accordance harvest of energy synchronization one similar to a music concert, but this time it's the Ache concert.
Hey,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
13, yes, 13.
Boy, listen, boy, look, if the energy ain't percolating, boy, I don't know what is, because that's something that
Look, the music game is going to be fierce because there's so many people that I think it was somebody I saw somebody had put an artist out. I think it might have been Orisha Stone, but it was a woman and she was just flowing. And I was like, oh my God, I was so moved because it's like that is what the world needs. Like the old world, the entertainment industry, that's dead. That's dead
Yeah.
and done.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people are not feeling that anymore.
Yeah.
People are ready for these real conversations.
Yeah.
They want to know what you're feeling, and they
Yeah.
want to see that courage in the people that are, you know, in this fight and making
Mhm.
and dancing in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so it is time for that authenticity, and for it to happen in real time, in real life, where we could touch people and have these events where people are coming and having these ceremonies for real. Because you already see what they're doing with AI. They're taking it, and I have a, I use AI a little bit, right? There's some beautiful things that can come out of it. So it's about balance, but they're also utilizing it to program people and to have people thinking things that are not. And this is why the self-healing is so important, so that you can operate in the internet world. Like, it's not about saying, oh, the internet is the devil and we should just, shut it down. No, that's kind of ridiculous. It is a tool that was made for us to utilize for our own evolution. Everything is available to us here, but it's a matter of that discipline. Like, if you're staying on there all day and you're not being productive in your use of this tool, then it's going to take your life over. You're going to start getting sick. You're going to get really extra light skin. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got to get out there and we have to do that. And it gets difficult because you get that juice of, oh, I'm moving people and people are so, and I want to, keep going because it's like a drug, right? We're getting this energy of the world is changing and we're part of the shift and we want to do more, but you cannot forget yourself. You can't forget yourself. To forget yourself is like a sin, right? So when we're giving our energy, even this is something that's a problem. And we're definitely going to be talking about this more in, in the private, right? I will say this, you do not have to be single to do your healing. Like, if you are in a relationship with a significant other, you can definitely do your separate healing and you can still marry yourself in that relationship. I'm sure your spouse will understand it. And if they don't, then they might not need to be there. But it can be done in any way because the universe is going to make you be with yourself so that you can get it done. Okay. And so what happens in the contract that exists, that marriage contract, it is a curse, it is a spell, and it was meant to make you fail as soon as you go and you let that third party in. And so they have these other things in that contract that are making people think things that it is not. So the relationships that are in a union, that's something very private. That's between you, yourself, and Most High, right? And so I know in my culture, in Puerto Rico, the moment that, and I know that a lot of people ain't doing it like that there no more either, but the moment that you give your vagina to a man, that is your husband. That's just how it works. And it's not because people want to.
Whoa. Sorry, that was a delay. I had to slam the brakes real quick. That was a delayed one.
Do I need
But
to
I just know for a fact. It's kind of like I remember like back in being in school back in the day riding the bus and the bus driver was hollering at folks that was jumping around acting a damn fool. So you all in the back, you can't really hear it. I know some folks that's in the back of the tribe that heard that, but ain't 100% sure that they heard. And then there's some other folks that didn't hear it because they was out there doing what they do. So can you please bring that back like maybe one or two more times for the folks in the back so that way they can make sure that they hear all that. Okay, one more time.
Okay, microphone check. 1 2 1 2. See, dang it, now I forgot what I said.
You said once a man enters a female vagina, that is that female's husband.
Thank you for saying it for me. I'll say it again. Once a man enters those vaginal walls, that womb, that is his wife. Ache. And it's not like that because people want to do this thing. Oh, a man is supposed to be like this and he's supposed to have like multiple women. And you could have multiple wives. That's going to be something that we'll talk about down the line as well, right? But those things are sacred. When you connect yourself to a being, what begins to happen now, it's like a computer chip, and now everything that is in that being is going into you, and now you have that orgasmic explosion that solidifies that union and that catch, and so now we are one, Ache, right? And so
we
in the
are
world,
one. Oh, my bad.
when people, we got these children, we say you don't talk about those things. If a woman knew from when she was little the power of her yoni and her womb, the power of her touch and her gaze and her hair and everything that she possesses, you best believe she's gonna be stingy with herself too. And these things wouldn't, if a young man knew the power of that phallus, if he knew that he was creating every single time that he was shooting something out of there, if he knew that, I think he would be a little more responsible on how he uses it, right? There's a time and a place for everything. And there's a way to redirect that energy. Like we have these things where, like I remember in my era, this is what it was, right? Oh, you can't date a guy, you don't want to give him blue balls. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, nah, you want to make sure you don't want to give up, so there's always this thing or this reason why you got to give it up or why you shouldn't. And it's just been a horrible, horrible, horrible experience for the people of the world and what they've done with the most divine power. Your fat and your womb, your vagina is your greatest power, the greatest thing you will ever, ever, ever have. And one is not greater than the other. Like, we got to stop that shit. It is all divine. It is all necessary. But you got to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. ¿Y quién vino primero? Who came first? The mother, right? Who did you come from? I got to tell you this also. This is really, really, really interesting because in my experience, right? I never had a visitation from Jesus. I didn't. I had a visitation from Obatala. I had a visitation from Oshun. And look, y'all, I am not claiming nothing. I don't claim Ifa. I don't claim nothing, right? I am my own religion. But what I am saying is when you know something is real, when something is coming to you and you recognize that, there's no denying it. And then the more I start to talk to my ancestors, the more I get, like it just starts to make sense. And I'm saying all of that to say that these energies also come in through these systems. That's how we all get here. So there is nothing more important than your sexual health. Nothing more important than that. Nothing. Because if you don't have that right, nothing else is going to get right.
I sure. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's a real thing. And shout out to the tribe out there tribing. I'm gonna make a quick updated announcement because I got a couple of comments asking about can they buy your crystals, but that's something that we're definitely gonna share. How to reach out. Matter of fact, it's gonna be in the show description. Matter of fact, can you drop the best way for them to get at you real quick before we even wrap it up, so that way we can answer the brothers' I don't know if it's a brother or sister, but we can answer their question how to find your crystals.
The best way to get at me is directly. So my contact is 818-233-5776. Once again, that's 818-233-5776. Please text first. My work is part of a service that I offer. And so in this service, what I do is I check out what energy centers we need to focus on the most. And then what I will do is I will connect you with the appropriate piece for you. And so it does require a consultation. Every piece is made by my tiny little hands, and it's one of a kind, and it's specifically for who it's for. So the aspect of privacy is extremely important. And so one of the things that, it is to the point where it's like, I got to teach you how to fish. I can't make enough of these for everybody. And the community needs to have some skills so that they can survive and thrive through these times that are coming. This technology is very effective. It speaks for itself. I've been for 13 years with this technology doing this work. So I know that when a person knows how to do it properly, they're gonna be able to distribute them accordingly. Like, we're building a huge community here. And so be a need for other alchemists, and not just in Orgone energy. I know Orisha Stone is going to be teaching about rapping as well. So all of these techniques and these tools are going to be available for this community because it's necessary. And it also shows to the fact that we don't all have to do one thing. Like everybody, I want everybody to learn how to do this because this space here is full of 13 years of me making Orgone energy batteries, and I get stingy with my shit. Everybody can't have it. That's how come, like, just me selling it. No, and see, no, we got to see if your ass is qualified, if you're ready to work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a huge thing. So Ache, and thank you again for this platform and for doing this. So let me just go back real quick before, so I could get back on my job really quick. So
Ashe.
So, what are some of you've had a lot of different amazing masters on this platform. What are some of the things that we can expect coming forward with Ache and the network and some of these masters that are, wanting to come and help build?
Shoot, bring them. Like, and for those, matter of fact, shout out to the tribe. I got to start, throwing Batman, like bat codes out, bat signals, you know what I'm saying, for the tribe to, like, to tribe the tribe, because there's still a lot of them out there that I would love to have, come and connect and be in the Ashe streets. But I first and foremost have to give gratitude and thanks to every single one of them that's been here. And I feel like all the elders are masters. I mean, to hell, just to be, I'm 45. I give thanks just for waking up today. So I ain't gonna call myself a master, but I know one thing: I'm working on mastering the art of just living life, and enjoying it. So I give gratitude and thanks first and foremost to all of them for coming, and doing what they do, and it's been quite a journey, man. Like I said, shout out to the Yeye first and foremost, but the Baba Smallses, the Baba Professor Kaba Cabernays, it's been amazing. Baba Ifa Karaday, Baba Ogun Tolu, and then so many Yeyes and Iyas, and it's been amazing, man. It's hard to, like I said, it's still hard for me to like really grasp the how much it's grown, and so how fast it's grown, because it's happening so fast, But shout out to all the people who I work with, on the spiritual journey, working on their personal priesthoods, because that's the thing that I tell them. Like, when I see, like, kind of like how you do your consultations for the right crystals to give, to the right, client or the right person. That's how my work is when it comes to working with Ifa, or when it comes to working with spirituality, because I tap into the oracles to be able to give the person that same quality, but just it's more like a playbook, or like a navigational system, a guide for life. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm constantly working on figuring out different ways to add more value, to add more tangible tools to how I work with people, and to be able to do the work, and to be able to like grow in doing the work, and doing it for a lot of different people, especially the elders. Like, there's no more proud moment for me than to be able to kind of do this work for the people that I do it for. But with that, I just say, like, we're gonna bring them all back, man. I'm looking to round back and double back with a lot of them. We got a couple of them coming in the next week or so. I know Professor Kaba will be here Wednesday. And then we got, shout out to Mama from the she's a Moor, second and third generation Moor. And she'll be back on. She did a dope interview in the beginning of Ashe when I first started really rolling. And she came through, Mama Cynthia Stewart. She'll be back in the very near future. Very powerful guest. So we got some very powerful Baba Mukasa Dada. We got some really very powerful freedom fighters, man, who've come through and done their thing. And we got even more. Matter of fact, I got a couple more coming. We got some surprises for the Patreon next week, tribe, on Tuesday. I'll be sharing them links tomorrow for sure. And then I got a couple more that me and you, and Stone got to get together and see when we're gonna do our thing in the Patreon. So we got a lot of powerful things coming to the private and to the the channel as well in the near future. And then also, I'm gonna throw this out there, because I was gonna try to wait till like December or January, but Spirit was on me, kind of like with the podcast. I got to start the Personal Priesthood Academy, man. So we're gonna probably have our first call this week to really tap in with the tribe who really want to develop and work on their personal priesthood. And that's something that I've been working on for me. Huh?
I was about to ask you there. Using my head, I was about to ask.
Man, listen, I got to do it. And it goes right back to, like I said, how I felt about the podcast. I had a vision of how I wanted it, to be able to kind of put it out there, and have it packaged and have it ready to go. And, a certain way, but you know, that's how spirit works. Spirit was like, nah, you need to start now. And I was like, dang, okay, but I just want to get a little, you know, a little bit more time. Like, nope, we're gonna start it now. So it's like when they talk, like, you know, when they start elevating that level of communications, you know, it ain't, you got to go ahead and make it do what it do, because you don't want to be on the other side of that. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that this week, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Could you talk about the priesthood? And when we talk about priesthood, it's something that's so, you know, we have this idea of it, priesthood ministry. We have this idea that it kind of keeps us away, or like, oh, I couldn't do that, or I could never. And so can you give us a little bit just about your view on priesthood and like what that means? Like, what is that? Like, can anybody be a priest? Like, can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody can. It's what look, shout out to Dr. Delbert Blair. You're about to the master. Dr.
Ache,
Blair said, there's no truth until you decide what truth is.
Ache.
Right? So if you tell yourself, I am a priest, I'm working on my personal priesthood, and that union is between me, my priesthood, and the creator, who can tell you anything different?
Nobody.
Who can
Nope.
tell you anything?
Nobody.
Right. So with that, man, like, you know, and so shout out to Ojoyemi, man, because just her energy and Ashe alone has been a contributing force. I feel like the wisdom of the elders of the night came and just kind of pull my little coattails, even subliminally or subconsciously, like, hey, it's time to you gotta get the thing going. So it's like, you know, and all the wisdom that, you know, even just in the short amount of time I've known her, the wisdom that she's poured into me and what she has blessed the tribe with, not just myself, but I'm the messenger, but the tribe with, it's like, there's no way I can't start pouring this in now. So it's like, even if it ain't set up and structured exactly how I want it to be, there was no task or no calling that, you know, I feel like the creator put out to me that I was fully prepared for when the call came. I had to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't trade this position for nothing in the world, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, the way I look at it is like, I mean, the creator brought us this far. He ain't finna drop us off here. So, you know what I'm saying? And look, and if so, I know how to get in touch with the mothership. I know the mothers. So,
What
yeah,
happened?
there's that.
Like when you started, that's the code. Because you started, you're showing, I trust, I share, and so it is. They take care of the rest. And it really does work like that. And that whole idea of recognizing that is so important because it changes like that. So when that happens, you know, like, because a lot of people, you know, they start to worry about how long it's going to take and what things that once you know it and you recognize what it is, it happens so fast.
That's real.
So it's yeah, we're preparing for some really fantastic times. So I want to give gratitude and thanks to all of the people that have been on this platform, all of the people that supported, all of the people that are going to be watching this 100 years from now. Hola.
I see. Ooh. Yes, sir. Nah, that's real. Nah, and I love it, man. Like I said, and shout out to you, like I said, for the, you know, for the value and the, you know, the understanding, overstanding, understanding, understanding that you've shared with me. Because even from the very first call, you know, when we was trying to set this up, which took I don't know how long to get it set up, but that goes to show how things are aligning, you know, in divine time. And that's the thing about life. You know, even when I talk about like the people who that I work for, I serve, that's dealing with challenges right now, it's like, you know, the moment doesn't define us. We define the moment. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to repeat that. The moment doesn't define us. We define the moment. So therefore, for me, if I'm going through a challenge or I'm going through a struggle, I'm having a hard day or a hard week or a hard time, that don't mean that I'm you know what I'm saying, struggling. That don't mean that I'm having a hard time. No, that just was some times that you know, things got rough and was hard. But damn it, I'm gonna hit hard too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw them hate makers right back. I'm coming hard. So, you know, you got to make the universe and the world bend at your will, because it's your experience. So who can, you know what I'm saying, master your experience or program your experience or manifest or create or, you know what I'm saying, crystallize your experience better than you? So yeah, man. So that's what the ancestors put on me. Like, yeah, it's time to get that started too. So I'll definitely be sharing the links and, you know, sharing the ways to get at us and to get with us as we, begin this journey, man. So, and to kind of finish up the personal priesthood thought, I think, when we decide that we want to change our lives or transform our lives, or just we tired of dealing with the same bullshit, like when you just get tired and you get fed up, that's when it's time for that major shift. That's when it's time when you hit that quantum leap. That's when it's time for that divine download, or that, that monumental light bulb to go off, or that moment that kind of just appears where you got to seize it, like the Eminem, you got to use it, only one chance, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's how I see where we are now, because this is a time that, you've shared a lot of different aspects of where we are with this time right now, but this really is a time where the most powerful forces, light beings, freedom fighters, galactical extraterrestrials, the planet herself. Like, I'm talking about, I seen, and I mean with my own eyes, and I got receipts, Big Mama communicating with us today. I seen these waves of Emojai and Olokun flowing with the, the sound of the Iroku as we saying them prayers and we calling on the deities of the ancestors and the guys in the Orisha. Like, I saw this, like I felt this, like people that was on the area where we was at, I saw them looking down, they saw something that they knew was magical,
Wow.
So I say all that to say, there's nothing that's by accident. There's nothing that's a coincidence. And I know for a fact that we here for a reason. And that reason is it's not over until we win. United we stand, divided we fall. The Ashe Tribe, # we here now.
Ashe.
And we're not alone. Yes, sir.
Ahora. And I also wanna share that I'm definitely gonna be sharing the knowledge of being bilingual for those that want to know, because it's y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what it is. I'm very excited to be a part of this that's happening, because one thing that you guys may or may not know, well, you probably don't know this. No, you don't know this. But the whole concept of broadcasting to other people, individually, but like a collaborative group, that's something that Orisa Gbemi was talking about, is something that had been designed in my mind a long time ago. The things that have been happening in this space, it's been it's just been such an amazing experience. And I know that I didn't really finish the story before, because I, go in and out a lot. But when I was talking about when I surrendered, it was because of the efforts that were made through the collective here in this community that allowed me to build up the strength to be like, we're here, because it happened just like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about financial abundance. And see, people think that they don't have it because they start to get scared. But the moment you surrender and you trust, it will rain. It will rain. And you don't have to be worried about where or how it's going to come. You just have to celebrate the knowing that you've asked for it. So it is. And so you celebrate it already being done. And that's how you align to the frequency of already having it. And so in that's been happening in my life. It's been coming like just full on to what's happening here in this community. And it's not overwhelming, but it's whelming. It's just like, I really feel like, wow, this is really happening. It's just some really magical shit happening. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's nothing more but to say ache, gracias, and thank you for this time and this space, and for this collective energy that's just very, very powerful. I am delighted. I don't know how long we're gonna be going tonight, but y'all don't be mad at me. I didn't even ask y'all questions. I saw questions for, look, let me see. Can I don't even know how to scroll or anything.
Can you see them on your side? Are they popping up on your side?
I could just
Oh
see
boy.
that's popping up. But the lovely Chanel,
Oh,
Chanel, she says, don't be scared. She
I
said,
know
don't
that's
be
right.
scared.
Yeah, man. Listen, I gotta figure that out, because there's some guests that be on here that be seeing them. So I'm not sure if it's a setting that I gotta tweak on this platform or what have you. But I'm gonna definitely look into that to see if I could set it up so you can see them on your end.
I want to give a shout out to Lavinia, the poetess. I'm going to be on her podcast this week, and we're getting this information out. And I'm just so grateful for the connections that I have been making through this community. Everybody's ready to fly. So let's fly, Eagles.
I say. I say, oh yeah, that's real. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's time, man. And the ancestors are here. Shout out to everybody who I saw multiple people in the comments talking about the ancestors, but yeah, they're here for real, for real. Um, and that's the thing where I feel like the deeper that we're able to travel within and know thyself, I feel like to me personally, I feel like the more solid the connection was or is. It builds and connects. Kind of like what y'all was talking about last night with the umbilical cord. You know what I mean? Like I never thought about or even knew anything about using that particular practice, but I'm gonna definitely use that next time I go into meditation, because I feel like just what I have been doing is working pretty daggone good. So it's like when I implement something like that from my the elders of the night, like, I can't imagine how that's gonna turn things up, man. So with that, tribe, trust in the process, trust in the creator, trust in you, and that I share, and don't forget to boo you, boo boo. So with that, man, what you got? You still hosting, so you tell me when we shut down the show, because
Okay. There is one more question that I wanted to ask you about, because you've traveled and you've gone to different places in the world, and you got initiated in Nigeria, was it?
yes, the first one was here. The first one was right here in the States, for Obatala, but
Okay.
um when I went to E5, yeah, I was in a town called Ilobu.
Mhm.
It's in Nigeria. It's not too far from Oshogbo in Osun State. So I would say probably about, I can't remember now, but maybe about an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour, about an hour or so from Oshogbo, where the Osun River is at in Osun State. And yeah, I was initiated into E5 in a town called Ilobu. It's funny because I wanted to share some of the footage of the trip
Mhm.
with the Patreon community today, but like I said, my work that I had to do, with some of the client work, it went longer than anticipated. So, but I'm gonna definitely share some of the experience, because I still got a good maybe 15, 20, 25 hours of footage from that trip that I haven't even shared on the channel yet. So it's like another thing. I'm gonna throw another bat signal out. So try, if there's anybody out there who has some young students who maybe like in high school or college that's looking for an internship, I need some assistance with the social media, content creation, chopping up and editing, clips and footage and all kind of stuff. So I'm gonna throw that out there now. So I'm definitely looking to build a team with some people who can help like really take this thing to the next level, because it's so much more that I have that I want to share with the tribe. But when it's just one person, you got to really have a team. And so
Mhm.
for me, that's where I'm looking for the tribe. You know what I mean? To anybody who got some young people who want to learn how to do anything that has to do with podcasting and content creation and all that good stuff. I definitely would love to pour into them and have them on as like interns, or maybe even possibly bring them on the team in the future, because we got some big things popping.
Yeah.
Thanks to iMSEGMahri, with what I'm saying, the things that we're working on behind the scenes to really, really turn this thing up. So it's a lot of very powerful, motion and movement that we're seeing. Shout out to Stone and all the people that he's brought to the channel, and like I said, me and him been doing this in real life before any of this stuff came about. Like he used to come to events that, or actually he had events, and I think I can't remember where his was, like Orlando, and I was doing events in Tampa, and then there was both of us was at other events in different areas and all that. So this work has been being done for a minute. So it's like now to be able to do it and reach people across the globe, I love it. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm here and I'm ready to get it in, man.
And the reason why I asked the question is because in travel, we learn so much about ourselves. And I know that you're going to be doing trips and different things so that people can go to different places and have these experiences. And it is so important to have these experiences of visiting other lands. Like, technically, all of it is ours.
Yeah.
Every single spot is ours, right? But when you start visiting, different places that are like, it just gives you a whole different perception, and it helps you with yourself, with your own self-healing. So I'm definitely looking forward to some of those excursions and going to different places, to work on ourselves, to do this self-healing work.
Mm,
It's I'm very exciting. And
yeah.
I know that people are gonna be waiting for that album by Orisa Gbemi. Like, I already know, so you better start writing. You better start stuff on paper. 'Cause
Yeah.
You and look, and our minister DJ OJ Yemi. She gonna be in the ones and twos.
Hey, let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Listen, look, I'm not even gonna entertain anything like that unless you know I get with my boy 100 and hunt me 100. I had to, you know what I'm saying, throw some things down on the ones and twos or something. And I don't know. I might have to see if I can get iMSEG to, you know what I'm saying, do the Mary J. Blige thing on the hook or something. I don't know. You know, I can't just do that by myself. I got to have, you know what I'm saying, some established, professional, seasoned artists to kind of, you know, like come along for the ride, man. I can't take that ride by myself.
I got you. Hey, I'm sure we got a great community of artists.
Oh,
And
man.
I just wanted to say too, thank you to the community for welcoming me, because you know it's like I just showed up. Y'all didn't know me from a hole in the wall, you know.
Nah, listen, a lot of people did actually. Like for real, like there was people you know, like I can't remember who all told me, but there was people like literally people that I know personally, and people on the like channel that like, yo, yeah, I follow her on TikTok, or I follow her on, you
Oh,
know, Instagram, or so. Nah, yeah, there was tribe members who already was following your work, like, and then, you know what I'm saying, so it was dope, you know, when they saw you here too, because then it was like, you know, we shared you know, conversations off here about just like the significance of people that we both know and how, you know, they viewed this show. And it was like I learned something new from you, like I don't know if it was today or yesterday or something like that, just in regards to, you know, some of the thoughts and the opinions that you've heard from people that you know about the show. So for me, like, you know, that's where I'm just gratitude, man. I'm grateful because we all have paths and we all have pasts, and we all, you know, bring our own unique, you know what I'm saying, superpower to the gumbo, man. And then once we get in here, we cooking it up in the pot, and we, you know, we slinging it out to the tribe, man. We're slinging that out shade left and right. So I love it.
I'm very excited. We got big plans for the community. The Patreon, that's where I will be discussing the things about sexual trauma. And you know, these topics are really they're heavy, and they need to be, you know, people need to recognize that an integration needs to happen when you start talking about these certain things. And we want to make sure that we're responsible in the way that we deliver this information and how we handle it. So it has to be private. And the same thing with making, you know, the Orgone energy batteries. It's exciting, and I'm very happy that so many people are, you know, are wanting to get Orgone energy batteries. But yeah, it's time to teach y'all how to fish, right? Because it's time for you to start creating your own, because more than one that you need for your protection. And that also has to be private, because guess what they do to people that talk about this too much on YouTube and stuff? They'll shut you down. They'll take you out. They'll neutralize you if they can. But
Hmm.
so yeah, we're
Hmm.
also sharing a lot of things. You know, freedom is important.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody deserves it. There was something that you said about, you know, the priesthood, how yeah, everybody is a priest. It's like me, I'm a minister. I didn't think that I could be because I had a potty mouth, and it's not as potty as it used to be. I'm still working on it. But I
You and
learned,
me both.
know, I am me, and that Most High, the ancestors, Mother, she sees me in all my ways, in all of my nakedness, all of my darkness, all of that. So I can be exactly who I am and be loved. I deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And so this is, I know that I have to be an example too of others, because if you, when you came out of your womb, out of your mama's womb, you were ordained to minister, right? And that's how it is. You have to make the choice to agree to it. You got to see it in yourself, you know what I'm saying, and make that choice, and then you're going to be able to follow that path. But you have to be able to have ownership of yourself, and have to be able to manage your church. You got to be able
Hmm.
to. So we're going to get deep into so many wonderful things here. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited. I know it's late over there on the East Coast. I'm in Cali, y'all, so it's early
Hmm.
time for me. I might do karaoke later by myself. Yep,
Man, listen.
best time, the best
Nah,
time, and
listen,
sharing music.
listen. Nah, shout out to the tribe. I got a couple more minutes in me. I'm gonna because I'm gonna read a couple more comments for sure. I see some dope
Okay.
comments in there. But and I want to say something else too, real quick. In regards to like the priesthood thing. So shout out to OJ Yemi, because her and I got a similar viewpoint when it comes to this thing called titles, right? Titles and labels and things of that nature. And I love how she stands on that. Like she don't, she's not with that, and I respect it. And honestly, it kind of threw me for a loop because I'm so used to, like, when I see an elder, I call them EI or Yay or you know what I mean, whatever. And she shut that down. She's like, just call me OJ, OJ Yemi. That's fine. I like, yes, ma'am, I got you. But I say all that to say that I'm not really big on the title thing either, because I feel like for me it's about the work. The work speaks, right? I don't have to throw titles around. I mean, I've been blessed to receive some ceremonies and some very powerful, ceremonies that come with some what people will call titles, but that doesn't, for me, that's not what I'm about. And that's not what this is about. So when I speak about the personal priesthood, I want to be clear on that, because it's not about the title of a priest. It's about, for me, it's about being a healer. It's about being somebody who's able to heal people. It's about being somebody who's able to transform people's lives. It's about being able to pour into people, to uplift people, to educate people, to empower people, to heal and protect people. It's about, you know what I'm saying? It's about all those things. That's what it's about. It's not about that title for me, but at the same time, I am grateful, and I pay homage to the elders and the ancestors and those who have blessed the path that I've been able to walk on. You know what I'm saying? So that part I do hold regard and respect for to the utmost degree. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to feel like they got to go out and spend a lot of money to have ceremonies for somebody to consider or call you a priest or priestess or whatever, because that title or that ceremony or that money, none of that makes you a priest. None of that makes you a healer. It's the work that you put in and day out. It's the habits that you create. It's the ritual that you make. It's the dedication that you, shout out to HPS, you become the altar. You become the shrine. You become the Ori that is able to connect and attach to the Shah that creates the deity when you activate the essence and the characteristics of these things we call Orishas or Nechas, or you know what I'm saying, all of that. Like, that's really what that's about. It don't matter about no Jesus or no Christ. You make yourself the Christ. You pour into you. You learn you. You do you. You elevate you. You initiate you on a daily basis, day in and day out. That's what it's about to me when we talk about a priesthood or a healer, whatever you want to call it.
Look, I was giving the mic. See, I make mic.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Listen.
I
Yes.
want to shout out to Harmonious Balance. She's saying, join the team to gain knowledge and experience coming together to elevate the social media platform. Connect with Orisa Gbemi. I got to say something about that. Because do you see that? Ain't nobody paying her to say that. She went and she had the energy to say, let me just put this together and write that down. And it sure did sound like a professional copy. You know what I'm saying? It's like people know when you know what you got to do, that you just flow. And it just creates such a beautiful picture, right? Create when we're acting, when we're coming from our heart, you know. Sandra Edwards says, good for you. You are a real Baba Gbemi. Truth. Ache. Ache Baba Gbemi. Ache.
I appreciate you, Miss Edwards. I appreciate the whole tribe, man. Everybody in there tearing it down, man. So shout out to everybody who gave the super chats, and we had a new member as well. Let me give a quick shout out to Miss Taliba. I hope I'm saying that right, Miss Taliba. And welcome to the tribe. We appreciate you for joining. Shout out to It Be Like That for the super chat, and shout out to E.I. Lode for the super chat. We appreciate y'all, family. And shout out to everybody. Hi.
I'm saying Ache to Ialo. They're sending her kisses. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Yeah, man. And so, yeah, it's one more quick question, and I'll let you get this one because I think we spoke about this on the last one. But for shout out to Deborah Williams, wants to know the significance of the number 13. So if you can get that one, and then we can get ready to get up out this thing.
Okay. Hola, Deborah Williams. The number 13 is the number of the divine feminine, the number of destruction and creation. It is a sacred number. It is the number for everything. It is a very powerful force. And I would definitely recommend to do your research on the number 13 so that you could recognize the power of it and not fear it. Ache.
Oh. So I appreciate it. Yeah. So with that, man, I think we definitely did our thing for these last 2
Did I
hours. I think so. I don't know, Tribe, what y'all think? I thought it was pretty good. I don't know, what do y'all think, Tribe? I thought iMSEG came in and did what she do, man, and brought it for the whole crew. So that's what I saw.
It's Saturday night. I want to send y'all some love. Can I send y'all some love?
Hey, it's all yours. Saturday Night Live. Let's get it.
I just want to say, I hope you're having a good day. I want you to know that you are so loved. If nobody told you that they loved you, then I will say it to you. I do love you. Do you love you? That's the one to do, is to love you. It's true. Ache.
Ooh, I definitely appreciate all y'all family. Definitely appreciate all the love and the comments, man. Try doing what they do. Yeah, so we definitely see y'all. I think Patreon, we'll see y'all Tuesday for sure, and maybe before, but definitely Tuesday, and then we'll see y'all again Wednesday with Professor Kaba, and then we got a couple more that I'm working on. So we're gonna be very active in the Patreon this week, family, as well as on the channel, man. We got a lot of movement we gotta make. It's a lot of things popping. So with my boy T, I say big things popping, little things stopping. We gotta get big things popping out here in these streets.
I love it.
Yes, sir. All right, family. Well, I give gratitude and thanks again. I am SEG13. Appreciate you coming through and doing what you do, and looking forward to really going in next week with the private calls to really take this healing to the next level, man. So I'm looking forward to all that. We're gonna make it happen. Shout out to the tribe, shout out to the new members, the new Patreon members, the new channel subscribers. We appreciate all y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next episode, family. We are out. Miss Stephanie, you can the Patreon, I would say that's in the comments, but let me put the email address in here real quick for you, and then we can get up out of this thing, family.
When I can ring the bell.
Go ahead, you gotta hit the bell, you gotta hit the bell, you know. That's what they do in school when they say class is out, right? They ring the bell, I think. You know, so hey, go ahead and hit that thing, man, and get this good sound healing up in this thing. So all right, Miss Stephanie, you should see the link for the email address, and then I got the links to the Patreon community as well as to the website and to the I think the link tree. And so I got like all the socials and like all the other websites and all that stuff in the comments on the channel as well. But the email address is in there. Miss Stephanie is as far as like for how to connect. Okay. I'm sorry, I said you got something else SCG before we get out of here?
No, I just had Stephanie's back. I was gonna say bye-bye. How do you connect? How do they connect with you? But you got
it. Listen, well, yeah, actually, and then can you share how they can connect with you as well one more time before we get out of here?
On all platforms, I am SEG13 or Master Vibration 13. Direct number 818-233-5776. 818-233-5776. Si hablas español, puedo hablar contigo también. If you speak Spanish, I can speak with you as well.
I say, but we done went bilingual on this thing now, boy. Look, we turning all the way up, boy. We hitting all avenues. Yes, sir. Look, leave no tribe member behind.
That's right.
That part. All right, family. So I appreciate you again, SEG. I'll definitely be in touch. And tribe, I look forward to chopping up with y'all next week when we out, family. So don't forget to please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next episode. Odabo. Peace.
Adios.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your